And we're back. I don't recall the screaming part being in there before. I don't know if that's a new thing.
That was definitely Isha overcompensating for all the assholes out there that keep on trying to demonetize our stuff by like claiming stuff that's actually not like copyrighted. So
yeah, hated it almost as much as I hate the hated it almost as much as I hate the thumbnails he decides on, and then the clickbait titles, you know, right behind those two things, the scream.
I hated this more.
Well, all right, fair enough. It's not your face that he posts as I'm like, fuck it, and that'll be the next one. So there we go. I just signed myself up. I'm such an idiot, dude. Anyways, Judd'z Budz episode 109, the Gretzky plus Letary episode, as everyone knows that number as. As always, your host Spoke Z, joined by my good buddy, Mr. at State of Hoppy. This time, not in person, live. Sadly, Hoppy, how we doing?
Doing all right, but yeah, just waiting on like the update that you've acquired one of the like 50 apartments you looked at while you were sitting on the couch.
I did do that. I did check out the apartment listings in St. Paul, which again, I think any time where we like walked by something, bought something, anything money related, I was like, it's what? How much is it? That's it. I live in Boston where like you have to put a security deposit on like a beer, you know, like you have to put down like you're sure you can, you know, it's like one Bud Light. They're like, really? You? I'm not sure. Do you drive a Bugatti? If not, I don't know if you can afford that. It's shocking. But anyways, St. Paul, state of Minnesota in general. What a place. I had an absolute time and a half. I believe the earliest I got in bed every night was around 3, 4. And then we always just had somewhere to go around 12 or 1 p.m. that involved drinking. So I came back. Again, we were just talking about this MVP move by me taking Monday off as well. Dude. I like woke up on Monday and I was just like, I will be sedentary today. I will just like my body feels like a beer can. Didn't hate it, but you know, was hoping to like do stuff, like be somewhat productive. Wasn't. I think I did a little bit of like a cleanup around the apartment, and then I had to like lay down every 25 minutes. My body was like, "Hey, enough of that. Enough. Sit down. Have a beer. Have a beer." I had to fight. That was my big problem. Was like my body was like, "Why?" I'm confused. Why is there not even one sip of beer or a pickle today? Like, what's going on here? But holy fuck, what a week in St. Paul and like the 3 hours we were in Minneapolis. That was incredible. Thank you to everybody who came up and said hello, and then everyone that pronounced Spoke Z correctly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to talk about that. Like I don't get it. You were a man possessed for an entire night at the bar.
Yeah, it was all just because I don't even remember how it came up. It was the last night, but it came up that like people initially look at my Twitter name and say Spooked Z. Like, I just don't get how that's a thing. People rationalized it by saying, well, the picture. I'm like, well, it's Zdeno Chara with a broken jaw doing a press conference. And like, yeah, it's scary. And I'm like, if you thought this Twitter account was like a Halloween themed fucking Twitter account.
No, you're getting it backwards, dude. They're saying that Chara looks like he's spooked. Like he's looking like, oh,
yeah.
No, it's not that he's scary. They think that he is spooked. Hence Spooked Z.
Either way.
It was more wild though when I like show it to Kirsten Crow. I'm like, read this, and she like read it off my phone, and she's like, Spooked Z. I'm like, oh, Z's gonna finally do it. He's finally gonna end his life. I don't know what to do here.
He cannot go on like this. I can't possibly be expected to continue like this. So yeah, the last night I was like, fuck this. Let me just ask every person in the same zip code how to read this fucking name. And I think I asked about 47 different human beings. And it was funny when they're like, oh, I know that guy. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking me. How do you say my name? And they were like, hey, man. Also, I think it's Spoked. And I was like, thank you. All right.
Say my name. Say it, bitch.
Say my name.
Yeah, I don't get it. Hang on. It was 47. What's my names? And then there was 1 or 2 errant Togos in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
But I mean, seriously, that was what a spot to have the Frozen Four. First of all, obviously, like it's any hockey related tournament is going to hit in like St. Paul, Minneapolis, whatever. But like right there, it was perfect. They did an incredible job, and the games, other than like BC kicking the shit out of Michigan, and even so, like it was sick just watching those fucking top dogs on BC do their thing. But phenomenal Frozen Four, even in the low scoring games involving Denver, like all bangers, and the crowd was absolutely buzzing. It was great to finally make my way make my way to Minnesota for the first time after years, obviously, of doing this shit, and in following prospects, the NHL team, all of it. So thank you everyone who made it special. I had a phenomenal time, and like Hobby said, I did spend one afternoon just like, this apartment's how much? Oh my god, rent's what? That was around an hour and a half. I was like, all right, let me find a shitty job out here. It doesn't even matter. Like,
do you even need a job? Like, just rake in the YouTube coin. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. If we have all these bots that continue to show up, we can just fucking. Yeah, and Isha has to like edit every episode because I drop a fuck bomb every 10 minutes or 10 seconds. As long as we do that, we'll get this stuff monetized and we'll be good. I'll just live across the street from the X. That's the one that blew my mind. The like really sick 1-bedroom apartment. You look out the window, you could throw a rock at the X from your apartment. It's like, yeah, 1 bedroom, like $1,400 a month. And I was like, this is $4,000 a month in Boston. And like no amenities. This is bullshit. I was actually getting mad by the end of it, so I had to stop looking. But yeah, that was I did spend an entire afternoon doing that. So
well, it was also crazy though. Like I didn't actually expect, besides the people you approach to pronounce your name, like a lot of people were just coming up and being like, "Oh shit, I know who you guys are." Like it's cool though. Like that. They're not all bots. There's a couple of non-bots out there.
Yeah. It's the non-bots. That's what I mean too. Like just the people that were coming up, saying hi, chatting. I mean, everyone that went out there that's not from there and has talked about it on a podcast or just like tweeted about it, it's like, Minnesota nice is real. It's a real thing. And I was like, yeah, I was so far out of my element. Like usually if someone pokes me on the shoulder and says, I know who you are in Boston, I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. All right, what are we doing? Like what's here outside? Where are we going? What do you think, you're fucking better than me?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Beyond impressive that you literally strung together a 4-day streak of spending at least a couple hours at Tom Reid's.
I love that place. I literally was at work yesterday and I was just like, I shouldn't be here. I should be at Tom Reid's enjoying the cheapest beers I've ever had in my life, other than the $1 Coogan's beers that are probably laced with something in Boston. But that place, my God, I am a fan, big fan of Tom Reid's. I'm also, much the chagrin of one person on Twitter, I'm a big fan of Burger Mo's. Love that place. I didn't eat a single thing there. I just had the beers. It
just doesn't have the hockey memorabilia everywhere. Like it's actually a really cool bar.
Yeah, a great setup too. Like a lot of it doesn't look as big as it is from the outside. And I didn't even know that like patio area was there, so that threw me off when we just walked in.
I didn't know the patio was that big. And of course,
we just kept going.
We pull up in the Uber and there's Seth just chilling out in his beanie.
So it is 65 and sunny outside. Seth's got a fucking he's got shorts, a quarter zip, and a fucking beanie on. And I was like, you look like you had the worst night of your life. And like, I'm so confused. You didn't even make it out here yesterday. That was so he was sitting there like head in hand. And I was like, he looks like the most hungover human being on planet Earth, but I know he's not. So I'm so confused. And I was like, what's up with the beanie? And his explanation was actually my favorite. My favorite part. He just goes, dude. And he just like took it off, put it back on. And we're just like, that's why. No, what do you mean that? I am more confused than I was before. That didn't explain shit. But all right, you fucking beauty. I heard that'll work. Like in my head, I was like, I don't know. All right, yeah. I should have brought one. Should I be wearing one? I brought two. But yeah. Either way, again, that was incredible. It felt like it went. I mean, it did just go unbelievably fast. And I was like faster than I would have expected. I was like, oh, it's kind of because like we were out till 4 every night and then like didn't do anything other than like go to another bar at like 1 p.m. every day. And it was just like immediately just like getting right back into it. I was like, oh, that's why I was fucking on another planet 90% of the time. But it was great. Again, Tom Reeds, I miss you very much already. But yeah, so I'll find a job and I will move out there. You know, we'll just do that. And
don't lie to the non-bot listeners.
True. My bad. Hand up on that. I probably will never leave, but if I do leave Boston, that's where I will literally run there. Let me see what else. Oh, dude, doing that the show live from your couch, that was so fun. That was like the start. I forgot how electric the start was. I forgot that
we had a baby.
I forgot, like Isha sent us the screen grab right from the beginning when your son is just like in the corner and I'm like screaming, pointing at the baby. There's a dog next to me, and I forgot that what I said was "What a baby!" Like, what the fuck is that? What a baby!
Followed by, "Oh shit, that's drool."
Yeah, there was like, "Yeah, look at that, dude. That's impressive."
He was letting her rip.
Yeah, he was ready for prime time.
But no, dude, recording in person is always so much better. And I mean, that and Tom Reed's are the reason you need to get here. Plus, like, you got together with all the people. Like, imagine spending more time with the fans we met up with the 10K boys who were just on it the whole weekend too. Jesse Pierce, Kirsten Kroll, like, everybody's awesome.
Right. Absolutely. And also a massive shout out to Mrs. at State of Hoppy for letting me basically just like steal you, like keep you out late every night with a fucking 3-month-old at home. Shout out Mrs. at State of Hobby for allowing that to happen. What a saint of a woman. She is wonderful. So shout out to her. Had to throw that in there.
Well, I'm grounded for like 3 months, but yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I didn't have to see. I just saw that. Oh yeah, no problem. And then as soon as I closed the door, or actually the second you got home from dropping me off the airport, she's like, "You motherfucker!"
If you think I went home, like, no, I'm afraid.
Right to Tom Reed's. Right to Tom Reed's. Fucking, like, I have to fucking have a couple before I step foot in that fucking house again. That is actually really funny in my head. That's really funny in my head. Just picturing you get home and she's like, he is never coming back here ever again.
It's like, I'm sorry, you'll have to address me when I'm sober.
Yeah. She's like, next time he comes out here, he's staying in a hotel. That was outrageous. Fucking, he will not be staying.
Next time he's out here, he's paying $1,400 rent, and he's going to live across from the X, and he's going to go to Tom Reed's 3 times a day.
Yeah. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, liquid diet though. It's fine. All
right.
With all that being said, let's just dive into hockey stuff. Let's talk Frozen Four again.
Frozen Four.
Phenomenal. You know what? Not even just the Frozen Four. That tournament from start to finish, other than like maybe 1 or 2 games that were blowouts.
But outside that,
it's so rare that you have, and like people have said, like with the Frozen Four, like I by the way, I fucking hate using the term blue blood. That just is, I hate that. But like outside of that, even the teams that you don't consider a blue blood, whatever, it was crazy just going back and looking through all like the games from the start of the tournament to the finish of how many high profile guys that are legitimately going to be meaningful impact NHL players in one tournament. And obviously a bunch of them make it to the Frozen Four. Like this was, for my money, like one of the better tournaments start to finish I've seen in a very long time. And Denver more than earned that. What a fucking performance. What a season in general. But like, what a tournament. Like they spent all season just kicking the shit out of everybody, putting up 6 goals a game. And the second they won that first game, was it UMass in overtime? I was like, oh, if they're winning close games, so like they're going to do it. And like they did, they had close games the whole way through. They got contributions from everywhere. And you've got that goalie putting on the performance of a lifetime. So Denver, more than a deserving champion. Carl, what a coach.
Dude.
Perfectly perfected the post-tournament media. Like, they're like, if you want, I'll come to the show for a shit ton of money. Fucking 30-something years old. Yeah, if you pay me, I'll think about it.
I loved it on Chicklets this week. He flat out said, he's like, I can literally have a job here forever. If I go to the NHL, I'm probably fired in 2 years. Like, why would I do that?
Just speaking the absolute truth. And so that's what I was actually going to lead this with. What would you, if you have a couple NHL teams giving you a call right now, but you look at the situation he's got in Denver, that's a team that's literally never going to be bad. I like
transfer portal. Oh, wait, that only fucking helps.
Oh, yeah, wait, they're already fucking raking in. So, like, what, like, obviously everyone that goes into the coaching, everyone envisions like their end goal being the NHL. I feel like he's got such and maybe it's my personality and maybe it's different if I was like actually like coaching or whatever, but I like in my head, a situation like that, like, why would I ever leave? Like he could be, and he's already basically a god there. He's won 2 natties. He's super young. What's he, 34? No, he's
34.
He could literally stay there, make a lot of money, and just become a legend in college hockey as far as coaching goes. Like he absolutely could do that. And like for me personally, I love like that is more appealing to me than like taking a stab in the NHL, but I totally get, obviously, like if you become a coach, like you're envisioning eventually running an NHL bench. But I don't know, what would, like, how do you feel about that though? That's what I was going to lead this off with.
I mean, it's easy to say right now, right? Because I'm never going to do either.
Yeah, I don't have to make fucking.
For me, the reason that I would much rather be a college coach, and this is just, again, me personally, and you know, admitted bias, like I care more about the Gophers than I care about any NHL team. So like I'm a little bit more framed that way. But for me, it's one, you can actually develop advantages unlike you can do in the NHL, right? Like you can have the better campus, you can have the better facilities, and it really matters. Whereas once you hit the NHL, it's like, pay me.
Yeah.
I want to be on a beach. Like that's it, right? And I think the coolest element and the reason that I would much rather be a college coach, like take away the job security, all of that. I love that you get to be the coach and the GM, right? Like you get to make your team. Whereas in the NHL, like, yeah, you're going to have say usually if you're in line with the GM, but you don't have that control. You don't get to make those decisions. And on top of the like short shelf life of NHL coaches, a lot of times that GM leaves, you're screwed. The team sucks.
Yeah.
You're screwed. Like you're the first scapegoat that gets sent out. And in college, like you can have down years and it's pretty easy to explain if you just lost a huge class of people or you got studs going off to the NHL. Like it's easy to get through a down year. You just can't have like 3 or 4 down years, you know? Whereas the NHL, all it takes is 1 year and you might be gone. And that's because there's way bigger bucks. There's way more at stake. It's a completely different lifestyle too. You are on the road nonstop, which, hey, maybe you love living the hotel life and you want to be on the PJs regular, but to literally have a routine, play your games on the weekends, and then like that's the life. It seems pretty fucking cool. So I don't know why you would leave that personally, but again, like if it's all about accolades and ego and wanting to be at the peak of your craft, I totally understand why coaches go and do that. But I've been confused every time a coach has done that. Like you look at, leaving North Dakota, leaving Denver, and, shout out Boston Bruins. Like they got a good one there. And he is a guy that like he is an NHL coach, but he left Denver, handed the keys to Carl. I don't know. I personally would absolutely go the college route, but I can absolutely understand why there's other people that are wired completely differently.
Yeah. And obviously, for me too, obviously, like way more focused on prospect stuff. So I think as a college coach, I feel like you have so much more of an opportunity to actually coach and teach versus like the NHL. Like there's in-game stuff. There's other little things, even the little stuff. It's like the assistant coaches half the time that's like working with the guys individually. Like it kind of feels like if you're an NHL head coach, it's so much more like game management stuff versus like coaching like individual players. And like I've said this, like people have asked questions on here before. It's like, have there been prospects that you've seen from like development to NHL success? And it's like I always say, Duhaime was the first one for me. But like, as a college coach, the opportunity to do that literally and have hands-on like experience with helping with their development from like start to finish, and then seeing them go off into the NHL, and you've got all these kids playing everywhere in the NHL that you like directly affect. I just think it's cool. And like you said too, like as an NHL coach, even if you're an average coach, if there's a new GM, there's only one Bruce Boudreau who survives as the Minnesota Wild head coach, despite 3 different fucking GMs. Yeah, dude. Which, by the way, unbelievable. That's how likable this guy is. And like a good coach. And a good coach.
But the other thing too, like if you want to go the ego route of like, I want to go to the NHL to be the best, there is chicken's dick chance of getting a statue as an NHL coach. David Carl does this for another 10 plus years, rakes in another, let's say in the next 10 years, he pulls in like 2 natties and a handful of Frozen 4 appearances. Dude could easily have a statue.
Oh yeah. I get yeah. So
he is a guy though that like you can tell he thrives on the relationships with these kids too. Cause they even talked to him about like Cutter Gauthier's comment. He's like, I have no problem with it. Like I coached him.
He also was like, I coached him. I know him.
Right. He said the same kind of shit and I'm all about it. And I called him right after he signed that contract and like kid's going to kill it. And like, you can just tell he is that kind of guy. The highlight, not to keep pumping the Chicklets tires, but he talks about the Boyan brothers and
that was so funny
how literally they both come to campus. Like Zeev is only like 14, maybe 15. And he's on campus with his older brother Shai doing a visit. Doesn't remember if it was official or unofficial, which love that. But he's like, yeah, like Shai was definitely about it. But like, you could tell when he's like, yeah, I got some stuff to think about. Like Zeev looked up at him. He's like, the fuck do you have to think about? You're gonna play here. I'm coming with too. This place rocks.
Yeah, that was so. He's like, "What are you out of your fucking mind?" In my head, it's actually way funny. It was like, "No, we are coming here." He's like 14. He's like, "Oh yeah, we are for sure." He's like, "Where the fuck do I sign?" He's an idiot.
It is crazy. What if players were required to take like X amount of visits? Because there's so many, like there's some awesome schools where you go on campus for one day and you do one of those visits and like shit, the players bring you under their wing and you go out and have a good time. Like it'd be pretty hard for me to go to even like, I fucking hate Wisconsin passionately. If I went for an official visit there, I would probably be like swooning and be excited to play there. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how many players it is. Like, you go to one place and you're like, yep, this is it.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag because like you do hear interviews with guys. Like I did one visit and I was like, oh, it's over. Yep. And I signed while I was there. But then like it's funny if they have to do a certain amount. Like I imagine there would be a good amount of people if like with the one, if they only go like a one, if you do your first visit to like Arizona State, you're like, I'm not even gonna go home. Sir, you're 16 years old. You're not like, I don't care. I'll just do high school here.
Especially now that they've got their own rink, right? Which we'll get into that later. That's gonna be a big topic. We gotta talk though before we get like way too far down the line, which too fucking late. Dude, just I'll give you the floor for up to 5 minutes here. Swoon. Just go off on your boy. You are the only one who talks about him. Rieger motherfucking Lorenz.
Yeah. And I mean, even before just getting into regular Lorenz, like we touched on before though, like Denver put on an absolute clinic every fucking game in this tournament. They spent the whole season like winning games by 1 million goals. And then they also showed you that like all 4 lines, all 3 D pairs, like they can show up and however you want to play, they could play. And like the even the guys that are like their top dogs, like Zeev Buyum, he didn't even put up all the points in the world necessarily in the tournament, but he showed you how well he fucking defends and how well he can adjust to whatever system he's in. Because like he had flashes where like he was walking the blue line and he made a couple absurd plays. Like that assist on oh no. Are we back? Are we still here? Video. I think I'm back.
I think
I'm back.
Yeah, you've been here. Your camera's going crazy, but you've been here the whole time. Z.
Who's frozen? Is it me or you?
This might be the
best. All right, nailed it.
Given yet.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you're done. You have no internet.
Oh no. Oh, this is a disaster now. Yeah.
It's all right. Just keep talking.
Yeah. Fuck me.
Non-bot guy merch though sounds electric.
Let's see if it comes back.
He can't even hear me.
Oh, this is a disaster. Oh no. I can hear you. This is a complete disaster. Like you're I think I'm back now. I think we're back. All right. Anyways.
You should don't edit shit.
Zeev Buyum. Yeah, this stays. But that assist he had on Lorenz's goal in the championship game was so nasty. The spinner ramp backhand thread the needle into the slot for Lorenz to absolutely rip shelf short side. My God, what a shot. So nasty. But like he showed you that again, doesn't matter the system he's in. Doesn't matter what you ask him to do. He can fill or he can check every box as a defenseman. Like he is an elite offensive defenseman, but he defends very well. He's strong as shit. And he's incredibly smart. So that's why, I mean, even coming in as the year went on, he was solidified like, yeah, okay, top 10. Okay, top 8. Now you're talking like potential top 5 here. But just Denver in general, like everyone filled a role. And again, Matt Davis, that save he made on Ryan Leonard was the second he saved that, it was like, okay, now definitely this game's over. Like, there's no chance. If that's happening, that is a joke.
But it's crazier though that like Fowler had a championship performance too. Like he played well.
The fact that he played that well, yeah, you should not play that well and lose. You know, like in a national championship game, like
with the team in front of you, like,
I might have. God damn, it's doing it again. This is insane. What a joke my life is. Oh no. I'm gonna leave and come back. This is insane. I hate my life.
He's gonna leave and come back. Yikes. All right, we're waiting on Z. Yeah, there's not much else to say about Denver. Like everyone has been saying, or at least everyone that I've been talking to, you knew that if Denver got a lead or just stayed even for the first period or two, they were going to take over these games. They're too well coached. They're way too defensively sound. And yet when you have a unit like that in goal, there's no chance. But Rieger Lorenz, the coolest thing that I'm sure Z is going to talk about now, if he's alive and has internet. Are you good? Are we in?
I think it's gonna crap out again.
Probably.
Yeah, you're already frozen.
Like,
You go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's delayed.
No,
you're good now. Okay, your reaction, we're good. Oh, maybe fix your internet or move to Minnesota.
Yeah, seriously. We'll just do it live every week. What were you just saying?
I think we just need to move on and say that's a wrap on Denver. I'm
going to keep going on Lorenz then.
Okay, Lorenz, go.
But this is the same. I mean, realistically, I guess it's what we talk about this year, anyways. This whole season for him, like he goes from last year where he, for sure, first of his life struggled, like was not getting prime minutes, wasn't on their first power play, was asked to play like a fourth line role. This year comes in, shows that he can play a 200-foot game. He shows that like while he does that, you don't lose any of his offense, where he puts up 30 points this season. But again, and like I said this last week, I think he had 2 or 3 shorthanded goals this year. He was on their first PK unit. He's on their first power play unit playing middle six. Like, it's not like he's getting 20, 25 minutes a night for them, but every time he steps on the ice, he makes an impact. He also blocked a shot in the national championship game too. Like, and I think Russo was saying before that, like, especially this season as the year went on, they have been swooning over his development. And I didn't even know. I thought it was crazy that, like, I had no idea that he was weekly on calls with the Wild development team and like their scouting staff doing like video. Like, I had no idea that you were allowed to do that. I thought you could like check in, like doing like literal like film and like coaching sessions. But I love that he was doing that every week, like all year long. So the fact that the national championship game in Minnesota, national championship, like primary assists on the eventual game winner, and then he adds that insurance goal. Played well every game. Like, good for him. Very happy for that kid. And he was clearly very emotional at the end of the year or at the end of the game. But just so well deserved, and like looking to be yet another one of these comical second round finds from Judd Brackett since he stepped in. Like it's like most of his picks end up looking real good, but like every time he picks the second round, I was like banger, bang, like, yep, check. And but like what a year. And again, with the context of last year too, he must be feeling absolutely incredible. So shout out Rieger Lorenz. He's definitely one to watch. He shouldn't sign. He should do his after third year and then yeah. And even then, depending on like what the schedule looks like, if however far Denver goes, you still end up playing. Like, if he signs at the end of the season and let's say they don't make a deep run or whatever, you're still going to get a couple games.
There's a ton of roster spots open, right? So
yes, that's good. We're going to have, like, when we talk about the prospects here.
Andrew, you need to stop this. This is bad propaganda. We're not going to even remotely talk Rangers winning the cup this year into existence. Fraudulent. Yeah. Erroneous on both counts. All right, let's talk BC, the other side of that net, because again, they played unreal, right? But we have to address, apparently no one for Denver was even aware, but Cutter Gauthier, he is a confident human. We'll say it that way. Thoughts on his pregame comments and subsequent play thereafter?
Yeah, I I don't know if we have the clip up to play. I don't think we do.
Besides,
but I don't think anybody listening in on this hasn't heard what he said. So we saw that tweet after the game ended, and I was like, that has to be a fake tweet. The quote, like, that's got to be someone just like, yeah. And then I found the video. I was like, holy fuck, dude, it's real and it's way worse. It's like, it's worse than we thought it was. It's somehow like you hear it and it's worse than reading it. It's terrible. But the thing that sent me was the tears, a lot of tears on that side. Since then, I have listened to that quote like 25, 30 times. And then just like, I also went back and listened to a couple of his other like interviews or whatever. I really don't think he meant it the way it came out at all. But it's crazy to me that if you don't get any kind of media training, that's insane to me. Because if you listen to it, like, it sounds like he starts and he's like, it's gonna be emotional, a lot of tears, hopefully on that side. Like, it's like, oh no, he's just going, he's riffing now. He's like dropping shit that he's gonna score. And like, I mean, he led the country at goals. There's reasonable expectation from him to tuck at least one.
I disagree with you entirely. I think he knew what he was saying. Like, maybe he fumbled through a little bit, but dude, the way that immediately David Carl says, like, I mean, yeah, he's said shit like that plenty of times in the past, and I was all about it when he did it for my team. So I got no problem doing it here. Like, this is a dude that is arrogant, and maybe it was like slightly exaggerated or misphrased, but like, I don't think he was pulling any punches, and I think he had no problem saying, I'm going to come out and kick their shit in.
Yeah, I think, and like, the reason I, first of all, I'm trying to give him benefit of the doubt, mostly because I fucking hate the hardos on Twitter. Be like, oh, tell that kid to blah, blah. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, first of all, he's fucking if I'm a Ducks fan, like, fuck yeah, I don't care. I don't fucking care that, like, I don't even care that he shows up after that, like, after he makes that comment and doesn't score. He also played very well, by the way.
Well,
like,
he did. But Ducks fans are like, wait, we have a player that's like actually confident. This is cool.
Ducks fans like, what do we trade for that guy? Wait, I thought we didn't draft. Wait, where'd Drysdale go? Where'd he go, dude? It hasn't been around a while. I just like, it's mostly just the hardos that are like, oh yeah, send him to the AHL. Oh yeah, kid, maybe win before you make a comment. Like, it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, none of us know what it's like to have an ounce of that talent in our bodies. And should he have said it? No. Fucking good Lord.
That's the thing.
I am not supporting what he said. At the same time, if I am a fan of the team that he's drafted or, well, traded to, I am like, fuck yeah, get that kid in my lineup playing with Zegras right now. They will be hilarious content machines. It was a wild thing to say before the game.
I got no problem with people like pushing back on him doing it after they go.
Like, what an idiot!
Literally put up 0. Like, there's definitely a level to which you go after him. Let's be real. 80% of the hate was coming from Philly fans, which I respect, because I'd be pretty like upset if someone forced their way out of my organization too. Now, am I telling him to like go harm himself or anything like that? No, but like, I got no problem with him coming out and being like, yeah, maybe you should like win something before you talk like that, bud. Like, sure, go for it. He deserved it. They got blanked after a comment like that in the Natty. That's fine. You throw that shit out. He would have been heralded as a fucking hero if they won after saying that. Especially
imagine the comments post game if he had like a hat trick.
Oh my God. He would have been worshipped. So like, you got to play both sides of it. Like, if you're going to take the praise for saying something audacious like that, you got to accept the criticism, because like, I'm sorry, that's just how it works.
Yeah. No. And again, my only push, the people that are weird about it, those are the ones I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, okay, like, all right, how old is he? Like, come on. Like, fucking.
Right.
And by the way, he is going to rip in the NHL, and he can be like, yeah, I can't wait for the day that he does that and can like laugh. Right now, my God, does this suck?
Dude.
Holy shit.
If he does that, has basically the same interview before going to Philly, he will be my favorite player.
He should. Oh man, he should go no bucket, no tarp, warmies, and fucking just go out and Philly. Oh fuck, that'd be so good.
Imagine if he goes out and buys some like knockoff Fanatics Flyers jersey and goes out there rocking it. Ooh, You have no idea how badly I need him first shift that he plays in the city of Philadelphia to go bar Mexico and just give it to that crowd. Like, so good.
Give it to that crowd because that would be amazing.
Especially because he hates those fans. Like
he does now.
Like
certainly does now.
He always did. He got drafted, and they're like, "So who's your favorite team?" He's like, "Oh, I was obsessed with the Penguins." It's like,
It's like, geez.
Phrase I never thought that I would say in my life. I cannot miss Flyers against Ducks this year.
Yeah. No, I
never thought I'd say that.
Didn't think we'd drop that, but here we are.
Let's so Gauthier, obviously he's off starting his NHL career. Good for him. What's the status on the rest of the team? Who else is leaving?
Oh, there. So news just dropped today. The one that is absolutely announced that he is coming back is Ryan Leonard. And for me, I was saying this before I left. When we were actually, I think I was saying this during the game. We were talking about it. Like through the course of the year, like the one that looked to be like closest to being able to step in the NHL was a kid like Ryan Leonard, not just because of how like well he was playing, but his style of game. And like, even for a kid that wasn't putting up points, like, I mean, he put up plenty of points himself, obviously, but like Perreault and Smith were on another planet of just like production. It didn't matter whether he was scoring or not. He was affecting every fucking game that he played in. So it looked like to me, just watching BC this year, like by the time the tournament hit, he looked to be the one that was like, if there's one guy that I would put money on going, it would be Ryan Leonard. He announces this afternoon, which is 2 days ago when you're listening, if you're not watching live, that he's coming back. To me, if I'm Will Smith and Gabe Perreault, I would definitely.
Gabe Perreault.
Well, the one thing that
Gabe's not.
Yeah. Will Smith's gonna be the one that'll be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
If the Sharks get the first overall pick, that maybe will affect something.
Well, no, and you know they're getting together for soda pops out in Boston and being like, so what are we doing? Are we both going to play back here again, or are we both going to go? How are we doing this?
What are we thinking? What are we thinking about?
Also, which one of us is entering the transfer portal? Because we got to start working on something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's got all of his boys at BC, but Celebrini has a brother with BU. So it's like, how do you make that decision? Maybe they both just say, you know what, screw it. We'll both wipe the slate clean, and we'll just let's see, what would be the funniest one for Boston fans? So they both just say, we're going to go to Northeastern and just see what we can do.
Yeah, they go to Harvard. Fucking
they don't come on. It's just like Logan Cooley. He's like, honestly, I wanted to come back to the U, but school fucking sucks.
I hate it.
I thought not doing school would be way cooler.
Yeah.
His reaction, because like we always ask if people have any like nerd itches and stuff, and it's more like, are you into Star Wars? Do you collect stamps? And like the way he took it is like, do you read any books like Lord of the Rings? He's like, no, dude, I don't fucking read.
He was legitimately insulted that you asked if he reads books. He's like, what? I play no.
Why the fuck do I need to read?
I'm gonna stop this interview here. But BC, so it looks like at this point those three are gonna come back.
Hang on, when did Ryan Leonard say that he was coming back? Like, when exactly did that announcement occur?
at like 4-5 p.m. today, Wednesday, April 17th.
Fuck.
It
Okay.
was literally a couple hours ago.
I was hoping it was 4 or 5 p.m. yesterday, because now the Caps are in the playoffs, and him to be like, this could be fun.
Like, yeah, like he actually can't back out of it because the Capitals management team put out like a press release as well, excited that he's going to go back to BC. It's like he can't be like, oh, just kidding. But if they're bringing all three of those guys back, you've also got
scary
another ridiculous recruiting class coming in to replace the guys that are leaving, including James Higgins, who is going to be in conversation for first overall in 25. You've got Teddy Stiga from the U.S. team, the U.S. program, who at this point, if we had done that ranking like 1 or 2 weeks later, he would have been so much higher up my rank, which I'm like, it's making me sick. He looks to be a late first round pick easy, and he is such a fucking fun player to watch. But you're bringing in two absolute studs like that. But I'm trying to bring up the rest of their recruiting class too, because they have a couple of other sneaky guys that it's like, oh shit, they're bringing in an absolute unit, and they've got Fowler come back, the goalie. Like they are already loaded up to be. They'll be preseason number one again.
2 questions. 1, realistically, and I don't know who they lost from this year or whatever, how does their blue line stack up going into next year? Like holistically across the NCAA, like, is it pretty dang good or is it like average?
I have to pull it up again because I want to know, because I know they're going to lose Powell, their captain, who is sneaky nasty.
Yeah, you talked about him when we were at the game.
Yeah, I got to pull up their actual, because they had kids like Gustafson who ripped it up this year too. That's the one area where they are losing a couple of guys where it's like, I have to remember who, like what defensemen are coming in and actually who's staying. Which I have to get familiar with their whole roster before I fucking make any opinions. Let me pull it up.
All right. Other question.
Continue on while I look this up again.
Obviously, if they all come back, like best line in college hockey, that's not questionable. Can you tell me how big or small the gap is between them and the assumed first line for the Gophers next year of Oliver Moore, Jimmy Snuggerud, and Matthew Wood?
Oh, I put those two. They're going toe to toe because I mean, like,
so they're neck and neck. It's not a big gap at all.
Yeah, I'm not like you lean BC just like looking at what those three did as freshmen.
That's chemistry,
But like, my God, like kids like the Snuggerud, Oliver Moore, Matthew Wood, that is comical. And like the fact that you've got two absolute snipers in Snuggerud and Wood on the wings, and you've got Oliver Moore, who is one of the best skaters in that class, two-way centers. Like he can just play anyway. He's like, what do you guys need me to do?
Is he not the best skater in college hockey? Just skater.
He's got to be absolutely in that conversation, at least. Like he is, like he just floats. It's unbelievable. And so he also can just like, he's the player that like just goes to his way. Like, what do you need me to do? He's like, okay, no problem. I will, I'll run the show here. You just get open. Like, just tell me where you want the puck. I will feed it to you. If I'm bored, I'm just going to score myself. Like, don't worry about it. I love that kid. He's so good. Yeah. Again, and the fact they've got a name. They've got the line name. The Snugmore Wood line is just outrageous. That is,
it's great.
It is sick.
Real question off of that, then, like, it remains to be seen who's leaving BC, but Gophers are they're losing their goalie, which is the biggest concern, and they're losing 2 solid seniors.
He got transferred today.
It doesn't compare.
No,
like, he'll be solid, but he's going to be kind of a split 50-50 kind of guy is the way I'm reading it. But it's really hard for me to not think that Gophers are like a top 3 favorite for next year preseason. Mm-hmm. That they could return their entire blue line, and they could return all of their forwards except for 2 while adding Matthew Wood. and bringing in some legit players like your boy Beckett Hendrickson. We got
oh my god,
a second year of your boy Jimmy Clark. It's fun. Minnesota BC next year would be insane.
Yeah. I was just looking at their fucking I finally pulled up BC's recruiting class.
Probably pretty good, yeah.
All right. Sorry, Michael Hagens is coming in next year. James Hagens is coming 25.
That's good.
But they're also bringing in Dean Letourneau, this fucking kid who's playing like he's 24. He's 2024 draft. He is playing like high school hockey basically in Canada. He's a 6'7", 210-pound mutant, and he is nasty. Like, he is absurd. And I forgot that he was coming into BC. That is unbelievable. But he's not coming to 25. Anyways, Minnesota, BC, they're going to be loaded next year. But yeah, they're bringing in Michael Hagens, fucking Matthew Frost, Landon Resendez, Will Skahan. I forgot he was going there. Sandriel, Teddy Stiga. Oh, Teddy Stiga, he rules. So there's a nice little class there, but
sounds like a really young team.
I forgot how many guys are going to be. Like, I just pulled up their blue line again. I forgot Aaron Manetian, who scored the game tying goal against Quinnipiac in that first game. Another Stars draft pick, by the way, the fucking 4th round. Makes me sick. Plus, you've got Jacob Fowler coming back. You've got Charlie Letty. You should still be there. Fortescue is going to still be. Yeah, no, they're going to be loaded back there still. So it's a joke.
Okay. Well, last, we're basically going to transition out of the college hockey with this, but the reason that I'm so high on the Gophers is because we're seeing a lot of guys leave from most programs, and we could still see more of that happen based on how the draft goes, per your point. But is it Nazar or Nazar? How do you pronounce it?
Nazar.
That's what I thought. Frank Nazar.
The third.
Is he the next Jonathan Taves?
Oh God.
Scored in his first game on his first shot.
Yep.
Hopefully let me caveat. I am not at all saying that Frank Nazar is going to be a scumbag like Jonathan Taves. That's not the insinuation here.
Yeah, anytime you say anything good about someone on the Blackhawks, you have to throw that fucking caveat out there.
He does not condone any form of sexual assault at all that I'm aware of.
He is so nasty.
He is,
and
Chicago's so fucking deep.
Could not have been less surprised that he literally first goal. Great sneaky, great Selly too, where he just gave the arms out at the crowd, yeah, I'm here, baby. And no problem. We're here to stay. They've got a bunch of studs coming. And Nazar the third. I love that I wish he would put the 3 on his jersey. It would be really funny to me, but he doesn't do it, so it's sad.
Laser, taser, Nazar, all kinds of Azers.
All the Azers. He is so sick though. I forget where did he go? 7? No, because they took, was it defenseman they took 7?
He was later than that.
Yeah, because I remember there was rumors he was gonna fall, and I was if he falls to Minnesota,
Nazar was teens, but yeah, he was another of many that went just a little bit before Minnesota picked, and people lost their shit.
Yeah, so Minnesota passed on them. He had, no surprise, he was so nasty at Michigan this year, and that pass that he pulled off against Michigan State on that insurance goal over to Gavin Brindley, who also just signed, and I think he scored or had an assist in his debut as well for Columbus. But
tough
that between the legs, cross ice between the legs, sauce, tape to tape was outrageous. And that's the shit he just does for fun. He is legitimately unbelievable. So not surprised, obviously, went right to Chicago and started to produce immediately, because that's just, he's going to be so sick. And they've got Bedard there. They've got plenty of other guys coming too. That's sad. It makes me sick. I hate it. And if they get, by the way, they get the Winter Classic again, which is so funny, that they're getting St. Louis for the Winter Classic on New Year's Eve this time, not New Year's Day. So that's different. But yeah, he is comical. He is just so sick. But yeah.
Shit. All right. Let's I feel bad. One of my best friends is a struggling Buffalo Sabres fan. Here they are again. Same shit. New year. Even with all the optimism coming into the season. Coach gone. I am really excited to see who this coach is going to be, because there's some fun options out there, and they've already come out and said that they want to get a coach with experience. I want to know who you want to see there, because I got two names in particular that I think would be fun, but there's a ton of options.
Yeah, I haven't even really put a whole lot of thought into that one. I always fucking hate. I really do hate it when, like, before they even hire a coach, yeah, we're looking for someone with experience. Like, oh, okay, so that's not fun anymore. Like, all right, fine. You go first.
Well, one of them's already been mentioned on this podcast.
Yeah, Carl.
No. He's not experienced, and why would he go to Buffalo? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I know he would never go.
No, dude, Bruce Boudreau would be so fun.
I know, and that was like experience unhired. Yeah, no, he would be right there.
Him and Berube are the ones I had in mind.
I like Boudreau a lot, because, like, when he first stepped into Vancouver and was like, "You guys are nasty, just play," and they're like, "Oh, okay, we can go Globetrotter mode again, no problem." They're like, "Yeah, absolutely,
like,
Bruce."
Wait, so I can just go, like, make things happen? Okay, that sounds fun.
And it'd be great because he's a huge, like, Toronto guy, like, loves Toronto, wanted to be their head coach, all that stuff.
He gets one
great to see him go to Buffalo
game in Buffalo every year. So
yeah, you could just rip them apart. That's always fun.
What a crazy tradition, by the way. How have we never talked about this?
Yeah,
that, like, literally season ticket holders make their money back for their season tickets by selling their ticket to Leaf fans for the game in Buffalo. That would
make, like, why would you do that though? Come on,
to literally go to the games for free all year. I'm not gonna lie, like, no level of fandom would stop me from doing that.
Yeah, fair enough. But, like, that, it still makes it mean I hate both teams, and it still makes me sick whenever I see Leafs fans, like, packing that place. It's gross. I hate it.
Yeah,
it's horrific to me, but whatever. I would not like to see Berube go there, because Berube, I feel like all the young players would probably just be miserable.
No, just Kyrou.
Yeah, he's like, oh fuck, that guy's hired again. God damn it.
Kyrou retires because Berube gets hired somewhere.
Let Everson go there and let the kids rip it up. Yeah, he'll let him do that.
Do you think he's the next kid?
I don't know. I feel like I really don't want a fucking like an experience. What, like, fucking hire Claude Julien? Play the kids, Claude. That's everyone's favorite saying in Boston. Play the kids, Claude. And people are literally chanting that at Bruins games.
You know what's going to happen that's going to have their fan base so divided? They're bringing back the Lindy.
I forgot he did. They would be like, do I don't even know how I feel. I feel confused. I am split. Yeah, Mateo just said Dom Ducharme. He'd bring a great outfit. He'd look phenomenal behind the bench. He would not fit in at all. He'd stick out like a sore thumb everywhere he goes with his pocket squares on the bench. But you know what? Could be weird and funny. But yeah, I'm firmly against them going like we need lots of NHL experience because that's so against what's made them fun recently. I was literally the first thing that popped in my head was Babcock, like like oh god, he's back. But I don't know.
Dude, can you imagine him going in and asking Rasmus Dahlin for his phone and Dahlin just beating the wheels off him?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, as he should.
Be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, we can move past Buffalo. I don't know. I thought it was a fun thought experiment. I would just selfishly love to see Bruce Boudreau back.
Boudreau would be great. I would love that.
So
yeah, Boudreau would be awesome.
And it'd be fun. Like that's a team that he could have fun with. That's a team that's got some offensive flair. So I'm all for it. I'm strongly advocating for Bruce Boudreau to Buffalo. Let's talk about a more depressing franchise. Our Utah Coyotes, except they won't have that name.
Yeah.
Have you heard the prevailing name?
No.
That people want? So you know how everyone wanted it to be the Seattle Bitch Pigeons?
The Soakers too.
No, better.
That was so gross, dude.
The Utah Stormin' Mormons.
Oh, okay, I gotta need that. Then you should lead into it. You want to be fun,
dude. Be the elders, dude. If you haven't seen Book of Mormon on Broadway, it's incredible. It's probably the funniest thing I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is something we talked about last week. I just my heart breaks for the diehard Coyotes fans because they are legit. Like, they have had to suffer.
Yeah.
And some of the craziest levels of incompetence I've ever seen. And the fact that motherfucker is going to make money from this is outrageous.
Can I address that? Because my hot take is that Alex Morello is a secret genius.
Yeah, and a piece of shit.
I'm not saying, aren't most geniuses pieces of shit anyways? Like, dude, look at Elon Musk.
Hello, I'm right here, dude. I didn't know anything else. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep, and you're a wonderful person. So that tells us what we need to know about the other part of that equation.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, like, he literally comes in. This is the guy that is, like, skimping on fucking hotel bills. Like, he's literally crossing out the amounts and, like, writing in 80% of what it was supposed to be. He's missing payment. Like, the communication, the inability to lock down that land when it should have been a fucking no-brainer, easy close. You don't mess that up unless you're either completely incompetent or you're doing it on fucking purpose, because he had the league by the balls. He could have dragged this out, made it a huge fucking screaming match. Instead, they're going to more than make him whole. $1 billion for that franchise, which makes no fucking sense when an expansion franchise is $1 billion with an expansion draft. And it's insane to me that they locked him into an expansion fee of $1 billion for the next 5 years. If they bring in one more team, that number already rockets up to like 1.4, 1.5. Like, it's going to keep growing, and he's locked into that. And guess what? I don't think he'll ever get a team again, but he's keeping the AHL team. So he's got some stake and some level of like foot in the door. And even if they say, dude, you're never going to own a team, he now has the rights to this 5-year deal at getting a locked and loaded $1 billion expansion fee. He can flip that to someone else and like make out again. Like, worst case scenario, he's still coming out with a buttload of money and no one can do shit because he just does not have a soul and doesn't care that he's fucking over so many people. Today, it came out that they finally had their first like staff meeting to address like what's going on and like what their job status is. Canceled 10 minutes before.
That is
psychotic.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
He is a loser, but again, I'm leaning towards secret genius right now, who just like has zero
regard.
Bad person.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. Like, I don't know. Every time I talk about it, I just come back to being like, these poor fucking fans. And like, even when like it hasn't just been, it's been the last couple of years. It's like how the fact that they have to sit there like, how invested in this team should I get right now? Because 1 minute they're like, oh yeah, the bid's no problem, we'll get it, we'll lock it down, they'll be here forever, it's gonna be fine. Then it's like, oh, they're moving. It's like, no, we're not gonna move. Let's hire 15 people to run our Twitter account. Anyone that just like has an iPhone gets the job.
How did I miss this? Oh my God, Z. Oh, that would be just so nice. That is the worst part of all this, because like Coyotes fans exist. Like everyone's like, oh, there's no fans. Like, no, they don't want to spend like $500 for a shitty ticket at a shitty rink. Like there's a ton of Coyotes fans out there. They've grown a hockey market out there. Like look at some of the stud players coming out of Arizona. That's not just by chance. And they're losing the team when they are on the precipice of being fucking good. That sucks. That really sucks. And for me, selfishly, we're losing the best jersey in hockey, and I can't stand by idly and be okay with that.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is the brutal part of this. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's great. Like Utah is just going to absorb like one of the best possible situations, like so much better than doing the expansion route, is you get this team with a loaded prospect pool, like young players locked in. Like we'll see what happens if guys like, I'm not fucking playing there or not, whatever. But like they're set up to be quite successful pretty quickly. And I mean, it's just weird having a hockey team out there for me. I still can't, like, it's just weird in my head. But
will they sell beer at the games?
That's a big question.
Because that's going to impact my interest level.
Many are asking. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I just fucking that goddamn ownership group and the NHL's dedication to fucking like making it work, and then it fought like it didn't just fail. It's the longest flop of all time. Like it's just years and years of just never getting a solid footing and completely failing in the most embarrassing fashion by the end of it. And it's a joke.
Work,
like, it's a fucking joke. Like, way to go, Betts. Way to go, Betsy.
This is his legacy.
Fucking unbelievable. And they're going to go back. Like,
as they should.
And
with a different ownership fucking group.
Morello will stick there for all 5 of those fucking years. Just lurking.
It'll be 6 years.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him.
It sucks. But let's talk then, Z. You have your matchup set. You avoided Tampa Bay as you hoped, and you've got something to worry about because Revo is coming in hot. Game 82, high slot 1T goal. How worried are you about Isha's favorite player in Ryan Reeves and the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I like it. So anyone that's been listening to me talk about the Bruins all year long, pretty much, it didn't really matter who they got in the first round. I'm going to be extremely concerned because I have no idea what Bruins team's going to show up. They're worse than they were. I mean, it's hard to be as good or better than they were in any area as last year because they like literally just were setting every record on fire. But like some of the bad performances this year, and just like the last 2 games where they just decided, let's not play hockey and fumble the fucking division. It's been impossible for me to have any kind of confidence in them all year long. So no matter who they're going to play, and I will be thrilled if I'm wrong. But
does Toronto make you more confident, though? Not even like looking at their roster, just the history of Toronto versus Boston. Does that make you any more confident?
Yes and no, because at some point I know that has to not happen anymore. By the way, Steve Dangle's fucking like the video, like the teaser he put out for his LFR thing last night was so funny. It was him just like maniacally scream laughing about how they just locked themselves into playing the Bruins in the first round. And he's like, how you would imagine any like rational, actual but psychotic Leafs fan react like we're playing the fucking again. Like, oh god. The only saving grace for me is the fact they finally won a first round last year. So like at least it's not that, which kind of also at the same time makes this even more meaningful. It's like now we can fucking do it and beat the Bruins. So I have no idea, to be honest with you. Like the Bruins beat them every game this year somehow. I don't know how they did it. It will go 7. It will be out of control and insane. It's going to be fascinating, but no matter who the Bruins got, whether it was a Lightning, whether it was Tampa, I didn't even fucking care. I was just like, I'm going to be scared the whole time and miserable.
You know what I need? Like I need fucking air. I need Brad Marchand to rip a clap bomb into an empty net.
Oh yeah. He's going to be loving the media as always. Now he has 7 games to do pregame media.
Dude, I need another Mitch interview. It's going to be so good.
Well, now he wants to murder him. If you saw the last mic'd up, he's like, you're going to fucking get it. I'm going to fucking kill you. And he's like, he has his stick in his hand. The ref's holding it back. He's like trying to stab Mark like it's a fucking sword. It's like, Jesus Christ, you already did this to Jari. You got a 6 gamer. Which, like, stop doing that, man. Like, cut the shit.
Regular season, not in the playoffs.
Yeah. Anyways, if they pull it off in 7, I will finally admit that I like the Bruins. I'm gonna have to be like, I'm barely watching these guys. I don't care because you know what? I'm actually more scared of.
You're gonna cheer for Colorado instead, just like you cheered for Denver instead of both the Boston teams.
That's true. Leafs Twitter is what I'm gonna be if the Leafs win this series. They're so fucking gutless.
I'm actually more worried about them losing the series. Them on Twitter losing is way worse.
Yeah, but they hate themselves at that point. It's fine. Whatever.
All right. Well, we can, I guess, wrap up. We can talk about a couple things with the Wild, and it's really all we need to do then to close this out. Might as well lead with legend Marc-André Fleury re-signed, not resigned, re-signed 1 more year. He's calling his fucking Kobe victory lap season. I didn't think Fleury would do it. I love that he did.
Absolutely. Not like I think at the beginning of the year everyone was like, we'll be very surprised if he plays beyond this year. There was, as the year went on, and especially at the end when he caught fire again, I think those last 10 starts, he was like 7-2-1 or something like that. And he was playing real well again. The fact that he missed the playoffs for the first time ever this year. Yeah, he's the fun-loving guy that's always smiling, just like loving life when the camera's on him. There's no fucking way he was going to go out like this year. Like there was just no chance. He was going to be like, yeah, now I'm done. But I just do as a Wild fan, you have to love these. Like my family loves it here. I still want to play. And it was either the Wild or retirement. And I mean, if you're Billy G, like, oh yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Of course. What do you think? Yeah.
Did you see people? There was a guy that flat out said like, I don't know. When you know this is the only place he wants to play, how do you not get a better deal than 2.5 million? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
What?
I don't like those. Those are the responses I'm like, that's not worth addressing. Like, it's just weird. He also was more than worth. Yeah. Like, also, if you don't think Marc-André Fleury is worth 2.5 million for 1 season, you can't be like, those are the people you can't really help. You know, like it's just no matter. They could have missed the playoffs. And he could have been like, he could have lost a total of 5 games, had like a 940, but like Gustafsson went over with like a fucking 650 save percentage. And they're like, oh, you can't get him for less than 2.5. He's desperate to play. I'm like, all right, dude, you can't be helped anymore. So it's fine. But either way, I just love the fact that he was like, I love it here so much. I'm coming back. I'm not going out like that. And realistically, I mean, like goaltending killed them this season, but
he was also part of that.
Yeah, which he is part of. Again, once they made the coaching change and like things started turning around, like, oh, they might be able to make the playoffs here. He was good. Like, and again, last 10 starts, he was very good. The occasional stinker, that Vegas game, who's first goal.
That's tough.
That was bad. That was shocking. But absolutely no brainer to bring him back though if he wanted to come back for 1 more year.
Yeah. And Horodox, we love you. Keep commenting and doing your thing here. I'm not gaslighting you, but everyone, again, when I say re-signed, not resigned, hyphens fucking matter because they have the exact opposite meaning. He re-signed, not resigned. But again, Horodox, I love you. Keep being you.
Not gaslighting. Allow me to gaslight real quick.
It was kerosene, not gas. Oh, all right. Really though, that was for everyone else's education because you're not the only one.
But so now begs the question though, and like so this will transition into like we're gonna talk. Who's has been great since he got here? Liam Ohgren, 3 games. He's been so fucking good. Like
the two of them
better than I even expected. The fact that they were playing the same line was like. Oh, nice. That's a save and a half. He's resigned to retire. I'll
accept it.
That's a
I'll accept it.
That's a Sports Center top 10 comment, That's nice. Nailed it. But you've got all these prospects who, we keep talking about like they're putting themselves in contention to make the team out of camp next year. There's about zero spots available. So now you look at Fleury, come back for 1 more year. Wallstedt is looking like a guy that can play in the NHL.
Unpopular.
You need to clear space.
He shouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't had enough games for me to definitively say, yeah, he should be.
I don't want him to play 40% of the games next year behind Fleury. That's not good for him. Right. He needs to play games. Right.
And Bill Garrett was saying too, he was just like, now we're in a position we have 3 really fucking good goaltenders. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's the one I can see through, you son of a bitch. I know you are heavily pondering this. But
he was in the middle of 2 phone calls when he said that.
Yeah. It's like he's like half the league on the phone. Like what is it? They're on mute. He's on a conference call about Gustafsson. But it does. So when you look at if they want to have space to make moves, if they are confident in Wallstedt, especially just in this context, like they need money for this next year. They need space.
Why?
I think they have like 5 million and they can't do anything because every fucking guy has a no trade.
Right. But so what can they do? They can't do anything anyways. They want to bring in some of these young guys. Like you said, it's not like money is a concern when you're going to be doing a bunch of ELCs anyways. I don't see the money being a problem at all this year because there's no spots to sign anybody off the street or make a trade.
Right. I'm not saying that the one move would be moving Gustafsson. Part of that is like you could probably get a better return than like getting a 2027 6th round pick for John Merrill's 1.2.
Dude, his stock is low though.
Yeah. Lower than it would have been.
If I'm a GM, I want him, but you still know that his value isn't where it should be. And the fact that GMs aren't fucking stupid. They don't care what Billy's saying publicly. They're like, yeah, this guy needs to move him. Let's see what we can do. It's a game.
Yeah. Well, then you've also and then you look at the asset that you could potentially be picking up. You got 2 years at 3.75 for a guy that showed that he could be a starter and he's an RFA at the end of that 2 years. So It's weird where it's like the value, obviously, even if he just had like an average season, his value would be significantly, or not significantly, but higher than it is right now. He's still a valuable piece, in my opinion. So the combination of like clearing 3.75, you're going to get something better than like a draft pick, a late draft pick in 2 or 3 years from now. It at least makes you consider it. And And when you look at the other pieces you could move to clear space or whatever, or even just like roster spots, it's like, it's tough. Like the way this fucking, like, I looked at their cap friendly, like, good Lord. Like, I was like, this is the one that's really pissing me off. I'll be honest with you. And I hate it because I don't think he's a bad hockey player. This year was unbelievably bad, but like this fucking Gaudreau contract is murdering me just because it's was a 6-year deal, 5-year deal.
It's a 5-year.
It is. Holy. I know it's only what, 2.1 million, but the spot that in theory he's supposed to be like filling, combined with the fact that he's got 4 more years in this deal, is legitimately killing me. Because it's like where he gets slotted in the lineups, like that's where Huzintinov should be. Or if he's in the wing, that's where like Ohgren should be. That's where Riley Heidt could play next year. Like it's just all of these guys where you're like, that's the spot. And it's just crazy to me. Like some of these extensions of like, I was like, all right, for like 10 minutes. And then after that, I was like, fuck. Like, no. It's just because, I mean, I don't think they possibly could have predicted that they'd have this many high-end prospects looking like they were ready to like make the team and play a significant role next year. And it sucks because like I think next year is the last like $15 million buyout year. And it's the perfect year for those young kids to get in and start playing meaningful minutes. And then once like the cap space opens up and you can really make moves, they've already got a year under their belt where you can like go out and find other guys to plug in that have NHL experience and you can sign to play with them too. So I don't really like, it's just crazy because Ohgren looks like he should be playing. Huzintinov looks like he should be playing. Wallstedt, I'm not comfortable either way just because, I mean, what, he's got like 5 games. In the last couple, he's been real good. Yeah, so next year after next year, it goes from 14.5 to just under 2. So like in my head, next year is the perfect time because I mean, realistically, like you're looking at what best case, they're that classic like first round exit next year again for like just another year of fucking pain, but at least they're not like a bad hockey team. So it's like the perfect time to incorporate these young kids. So I don't know, but it will be interesting to see what happens in the goaltending situation. But I also at the same time share your like, there's shared anxiety about the thought of having Wallstedt as a 40-game backup to Marc-André Fleury next year. Because, I mean, as good as Fleury was the second half of this year, like, he's still going to be 40.
When it lines up too perfectly to have Fleury step out, and then it's the Gus and Wallstedt tandem. And by then, you know, like, is Gus okay or not? And you can make a more educated decision. Like, I don't think you're going to get for him this summer. Could his value go down? Sure. But I don't know. I don't like forcing him out. If you get a good return, go nuts. I don't care. But I'm not taking any discounts on a move there. But I definitely need you particularly, Z, to address
There
Jason.
I go again.
Might just have to end the show if he's not existing.
I'm going to try.
Oh, boy. Okay, Isha, you might be allowed to edit this part.
Now there's
fixed.
Lost all the bots, though.
So, sorry, Jason was pretty giddy for you to address this.
I really can't with LaPanta, dude. Like, it's just painful. Like, bro, like, at some point you have to be like, okay, like, I mean, I can't possibly like at this point it has to be like a bit, specifically the Gaudreau one. Like it has to be a bit. Like
I actually thought the Johansson one was the bit. So
yeah, that one has to also be a bit based on this year alone. But even beyond this year, last year, like Johansson's been a solid NHL player his whole fucking career. Like he's just been like at least good. Like Minnesota was the first team that Gaudreau played a full NHL season on. Like that was the first time he did that. Like even in Pittsburgh, he played half a year.
No, he
didn't get 80 games.
It was all on the fourth line, but he played most of it, I thought. I'll check it.
I feel like it was like he played 40 something games. I might be wrong though. Either way,
I'll confirm.
Either way though, like at some point, it's like the dedication to like, no, I hate these young players because we have these older, experienced guys that have sucked all year.
How many games were there in 2021 due to COVID?
Oh,
because he definitely didn't play every game, but I also don't know what I'm working with here.
Let's see. It would have been March, right? So 60 something. Maybe. I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way.
It's 56. Yeah, he played half.
Yeah.
Not great. He looked good though. I loved him in Pittsburgh as a fourth line.
Remember his like, hey, this guy is an NHL player. Like his coming out party was the year the Predators went to the Stanley Cup final, and he scored like in the first like 4 games the final.
He played really good in the playoff. Yeah,
he like barely played the regular season, and then not even the playoffs, the Stanley Cup final, and he scored in the first 3 or 4 games. Like, who the fuck is this guy? But yeah, no, the dedication to just like burying prospects in order to play guys that have just been terrible here in the NHL is comical, but it's fine. I mean, whatever. It's fine. I'm just gonna leave it.
Also, I mean, on the Talbot thing, the level of disrespect from Kaprizov on that goal, that was awesome.
That was so mean. And by the way, how excited was the entire fan base on the first goal? The ridiculous Faber breakout, feed Rossi to Boldy, and that first of all, the move to actually get clear of to split the 2 defensemen, and then the move to go 5-hole. By the way, he had like it was the only place he could put the puck that it would end up in the net, and literally like just did it easy. But like people are also, and this is just me being this, I will hand up, I am just being a complete fucking like fanboy. People are not putting enough respect on like Rossi hitting Boldy legitimately at top speed, tape to tape, for him to just like, it was perfect. It was a perfect pass for him to just hit the zone and then split those 2 deep at full speed, and that move. But that, and the fact it was on the power play, I was like, holy fuck, it was all 3 of guys that are super young that are gonna be the future of their franchise, and it was a power play goal. Oh my god, that's what I knew it was gonna be. Players. Yeah, they'll move them all for like Zach Bogosian's like uncle.
I've changed my answer, by the way. The Wild absolutely have to trade Philip Gustafsson to LA.
And they'll just do it again. That dude,
I would die. Oh my god.
You know what's specifically on the Kaprizov bank shot goal? You know what's a conversation that happens? I'm not as put off by it as the people that want to outlaw the Michigan goal or the lacrosse goal, however you prefer to say it.
Sure.
I totally get, and like at first I was like, oh, fuck off. It's nasty. It's sick. I totally understand why goalies are like, why the fuck is this? Like, they're shooting it at my head, like the back of my head.
The Michigan or what Kaprizov did?
When you go bank shot off the foot, like it's more so the guys like Jack Hughes does it, where he's like from the corner and he's releasing like an 80-mile-an-hour wrist shot off the back of your head into the net. I'm not saying they should absolutely. I'm not saying that they should outlaw. I'm not saying that. I would like to get that on record. I totally get why goalies are saying like, fuck. Like if I was a goalie, I wouldn't be like, hey, let's get rid of this. I would just stick you in the face. I would be so mad at you. Like no one's making you crouch down that low. No one's saying that you have to do that. But I totally get why goalies like, yo, fuck you. There you go. Cosgrove, like you said. No one's making you get that low. But like everyone knows, like the goaltending coaching is like you're staying that low. But I totally get why goalies like, yo, this is bullshit. Like this sucks. I would just fucking take the whatever game suspension. I'd probably just feed you the paddle. Like I would just be so mad. It was shit. And the fact that every time they scored, which by the way, those goals were all fucking filthy. Even the Hartman flick of the wrist, even that was like a pimp job where he just like flicked it and then he turned around and started laughing in his face. I was like, this is the meanest thing I've ever seen in my life. He got embarrassed on his way out of town. Like the next year he played for the Senators. Gustafsson put up borderline Vezina numbers, and then they play LA at the end of the year out of the playoffs, and they scored 3 of the most filthy goals they've scored all year long. And every fucking time, every player is laughing in Talbot's face. I would be like, yo, yank me right now. Like, get me off the fucking, like, fuck this, dude. We're in the playoffs. I don't care. Like, get me off the ice. I don't care. This is mean. Kaprizov was just disrespecting him. And what a season, by the way. Good Lord. And specifically, people that want to talk about Kaprizov's just going to be looking for a reason to not sign here again. Looking for the fact that he is this dialed in and fired up after every fucking goal, even when they're out of the playoffs. I don't know if it's just me. I fucking love that. Like, they could be 15 games out of the playoffs, and he's still, like, all in. Like, all that kid wants to do is produce and score, and I love that. So, I don't know if it's just me, but it fires me up every time.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, anyways.
And I think that's an okay spot to end on. But any of you beauties that are tuning in live right now, because if you're listening to the audio on Friday, it's too late already. Early recording for next week's episode of Fellowship of the Rink. Gonna have Joe Smith and Wes Walls breaking down this season, as well as talking about what they want to see in the offseason. But I'm literally about to throw up a post right now. Go find @StateOfHoppy on the Twitter X machine and drop in whatever questions, topics you want to see addressed. And Caden Pankier is fucking awesome.
I was dying laughing when he was like, I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean guy.
I love that. I love it.
It was so good. Oh God. I know what fucking face he was making the whole. I don't know what it is. He's the guy when he's talking. He's just like ready to like giggle. He's always just ready. He's an idiot. I love him. A lovable idiot. Also, Anthony just said, Anthony B, you guys see that hit on Coombs into the open door? Yeah, I don't think there's been any update from Oshawa. Kumpalainen left the game early last night or 2 nights ago. Can't remember. That looked real bad. Ottawa, they had the door open ready for a change and he got like just shoved. It wasn't like dirty or anything, but he did go flying ribs first where there's no pad into that open door. I don't know how you don't break a rib. He could barely stand up. They had to help him off the ice. It was bad. That sucked. Hopefully it somehow wasn't as bad as it looked, but did not look good. But yeah, they're in the second round. They're up 3-0 on Ottawa. Hunter Haight, they're up 2-1 on Sault Ste. Marie, depending on how tonight's going. Prince George, they have not lost a playoff game. Riley Height is second in assists with 10 in the playoffs in 7 games. And Danil Yurov is headed to the KHL final. He had goals in games 6 and 7. So there you go. We touched on that briefly, at least. So that'll do it. In theory, we'll be back here next week. And in theory, we're coming back with rankings again. We will talk about the top 10 Finnish prospects for the draft class in 2024 and whatever the fuck else happens, because I think there'll be a couple playoff games that'll be done by then. So I'm sure we'll talk about that too.
Couple playoff games. And I know a couple of people asked about Wild's goals for this draft too. Probably touch on that a little bit more next week as well.
We're going to be getting way more draft heavy now.
Which spot. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of draft and playoff talk, and that's really all we're going to have. There's not going to be shit to talk about for college, whatever. So, yeah. And there's not going to be any Wild to talk about. So, yeah.
They're also going to Salt Lake. They are also for the summer. Just a quick trip just to play. All right. Anyways.
Wild relocate to Cabo.
fair enough, dude.
Oh, shit.
All right. We're out. See you next week, hopefully. In theory, again. Always say hopefully.
In theory, hopefully. Say it a couple more times.
Okay. In theory, hopefully. In theory, hopefully. In theory, hopefully. I can't.